Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 16. Today, Texas Rangers All-Star third baseman Josh Jung is going to join us a little bit later on. We'll talk about an event he's got coming up this weekend. Plus, I always want to talk to him about baseball cards since we kind of found out he's a big baseball card guy. A little bit about the offseason and what he's doing. Jeff and I will ask him before heading into it. But first, let's go into the Ranger stuff. Hey, don't forget, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. Go over to DLLS_sports. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. If you follow DFW Sports, they've got every sport. They've got the Mavericks, the Stars, the Cowboys, who just finished their amazing season. It was fantastic. They're over with now. You've also got TCU football. You've got other things over there. And, of course, the Texas Rangers with John Radigan and Jeff and Abby over there that do the daily podcast, but this is the weekly one. And Jeff and I are getting together again. This is episode 16 of this one. If you followed our show for the last few years, this is 16 with the new
episode 1 of 2025.
Episode 1 of 2025 and the first episode of Snowmageddon. Are you getting snow there?
It is not. I say that. I just look out. There's a few big snowflakes falling right now, but it's been mostly rain and sleet here. But right now it is snowing.
We had major snow this morning. Not major snow. You're used to major snow. You're from Colorado. But I mean, my yard was covered and in white stuff that I think will melt off because it's getting up to like 38 or 39 today, I think, something like that. I mean,
yeah, it's just too warm for it to be a terrible.
Yeah, it's not what they said it was going to be. But I tell you what, it's going to freeze over tonight, and tomorrow's going to be bad. It's wet out there, and it'll freeze over and be slick roads tomorrow.
Well, we'll see. I don't know, but yeah, it's my kids are definitely disappointed. But school's already been canceled tomorrow, in addition to today. So they're not unhappy about that. That's for sure.
But they want to get out and make a snowman, and right now they'd have to do that with ice out of the ice maker.
Not even that. I mean, there's nothing here for them. So they'll survive. They'll have a better day tomorrow.
That'll be good. Okay, let's get into the Rangers. They've signed Chris Martin. That was the latest since I've been on there, and you and I've been on hiatus for 2 weeks. You haven't. You've been doing the daily, but we haven't done the weekly in a couple weeks. This is the first one of the new year. You know, a lot of questions going around. I want to get into Sasaki again. There's no real news on it. We'll just get some updates on it. But when we're talking about closing, you know, everybody, Chris Martin, here's what they've done so far for the bullpen. They've gotten Sean Armstrong, they've gotten Garcia, Holby Milner, who they signed. And Chris Martin was the latest one. They got Webb. They also signed Webb. They've gotten some good arms for the bullpen, but they haven't gone out and signed or traded for a true closer, I guess, and nobody knows if they're actually going to do it, to which my response has been, well, the year they won the World Series, I mean, let's be honest, Will Smith closed most of the season, and that wasn't in the plans going into the season. I think closer is something by committee that you can find a closer at some point. But we still got a lot of offseason to go.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams who are like that. They're like, oh, well, you know, I'll find you a closer, you know, and you know, a lot of times it works out. I mean, you can look back in Rangers history and find guys who are like, God, he really saved 35 games, and sure enough, it's true. So, I think that they're going to sign a closer. You know, these deals. You know, we mentioned Chris Martin, but Jock Peterson was also occurred during our hiatus. And that came with a $5.5 million signing bonus that the AP revealed yesterday. Well, you know what? That helps the bottom line for 2025 and staying under the luxury tax. So the Rangers seem to have a lot more money than I think people expect. I think, you know, if you go to the sites that track payroll and, you know, look at some of that, what they have, and some of the things that like these signing bonuses, have they accounted for those yet? whatever it is, I really think the Rangers still have about $15 to $20 million to play with, and they don't want to spend it all now because they expect to contend and be in a position where they might have to add at the trade deadline. Okay, great. There's always non-roster invites who make the roster, or guys who get called up who are on minor league deals who have a guarantee prorated at that point. But nevertheless, it's money that counts against the luxury tax.
Right.
So they need to keep some powder dry. But I think they have the money to do it. I think what Ross Spencermaker said the other day was basically, we have 5 guys who we think can get us outs and win us games, and we're open to a deal if it comes along.
Sure.
So, basically saying, we don't need a closer, and it needs to be at our price. So maybe that's a message to teams who have closers who are trying to,
either move them
or prospect wise, or to free agents. The free agent closer market has not moved yet. I think once one of them signs, they all sign. But I think that the Rangers are now in a waiting game on that end.
There's also, and no one wants to talk about this, there are some internal candidates. And when I say internal candidates, there's actually one guy that's an internal candidate who is not going to be available at the beginning of the year through the most popular pitch in Texas Ranger history. Josh Spores will be back hopefully by halfway in the season. That's a guy who closed some games. Now, is he a knockdown, lockdown closer? Not necessarily, but he can do it. But that's another arm that they're going to be going back. He's going to go on the 60-day before the season starts. He is doing some rehab to get back. They've got Teodo, they got Church, they got Pennington, who's not really a closer, but that's another arm throwing hard. They got Skylar Hale that's up in the upper part of the minor leagues. I mean, they've got some internal candidates maybe that turn into something. And here's another one. If they get the rotation right with the right names, someone like John Gray, if they don't move him, might do something in that. He does pretty well out of that bullpen, and maybe that's a guy that might look at some way to increase and elongate. Hey, you know what? Before we do that, though, hey guys, there's a lot we want to talk about here, but we've got a special guest that's coming on with us. He's going to jump on with us right now, and
Josh Young.
What's up, guys?
It's Josh Young. It's the Texas Rangers All-Star third baseman, Josh Young. What's going on, man?
Not much. I didn't know y'all were live right now.
We're recording. We're recording live.
We're recording to go out, but we just bring you in naturally is what we're doing.
So we can edit this. If you screw something up, we can say stop.
My bad.
So if you have a Tourette's outburst and start cussing, we can take that out.
Well, if you don't want it.
Good.
If you don't want it, because actually it's okay if you throw down a cuss word on this show, but if you don't want it on there, we'll get it out of there. That's no problem.
Yeah. Perfect. Hey, where are you? Are you at your house? Where are you?
I'm in Argyle.
How's the weather up in Argyle?
There's a lot of snow on the ground right now.
How much is a lot? Now, I'm from Colorado, so let's temper this.
I mean, it's not going to be what you're used to. It's not 6 to 12 inches. We might have an inch or two sticking on the ground since it's cold.
Yeah, no, it's going to snow some more too, I think. So I think
mainly sleet right now. It was snowing, now it's sleeting again.
Did you get out to the ballpark today and work out, or is it today an off day? Okay, all right. Well, good. I'm glad you're able to join us. I'm glad this weather's getting out of the way for you because you've got your big Major League Wiffleball event, Young's Backyard Battle on Sunday. Mm-hmm. You went to their event like in October or November. It seems like you're smitten with this thing.
Yeah, the last 2 years. So I didn't go to one. Oh, I did. I guess their World Series that they recorded in the Cowboys Stadium. I went to that little.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. The last 2 years, though, I competed in their tournament in Conroe, Texas. And we were back-to-back champs, but I played with them, so it's probably kind of unfair. But there's some good competition out there. And, so I think we ended up with 77 teams. So we got a good amount of people and a good amount of competition coming. So
you can bring in a ringer. You can.
Yeah, I got my own team in the tournament. We'll see how we fare because that wiffle ball moves different, and that strike zone is a lot bigger than we're used to. So the playing field's definitely going to be leveled, but it will be fun to see how we compete against those guys.
Well, who's on your team, or is it a surprise?
I haven't really announced it yet, but as of right now, there's 7 of us. with kind of an IR guy on our team. But we got myself and my brother.
Okay.
I'm about to say, is Jace playing?
That's a good start.
Adolis Garcia confirmed that he was going to come play. Jonah Heim's going to come play, even though the Bills are playing, so he'll probably be on his phone watching that Bills game. But he said he's coming. Cody Bradford's coming. And Evan's going to be there. I don't know if Evan's going to play necessarily, but he is going to be there and just hang out. And then Colton Cowser from the Orioles said he was going to come over and play. So we got
That's
6
so
guys on our
awesome.
team, and it should be fun. We're actually playing in pool play just for the heck of it. We're playing both of the MLW teams that are in the tournament.
Okay.
Kind of make it fair that way, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe we need to play some other teams first and figure out how to do this. But it'll be good. Fun and competitive.
Hey, I want to ask you real quick though. Now, as a kid, growing up with the dad as a coach, I got to imagine for me, and I know Jeff, we're so old. Wiffle ball. If that was a sport back then, maybe I could have been a pro wiffle ball player. Now,
no chance. No chance.
What about you? Did you play it a lot as a kid?
Well, what we did,
that was me and my brother in the front yard all the time.
Yeah, we ended up in high school. Me and my friends, we created he had a parking lot behind his house, and it was just a natural field because it like had walls and it was perfect. But we would doctor the ball. We would tape the balls.
Sure.
So the balls had no aerodynamics, and so the ball would fly. And so it was more like a home run derby league. But we didn't try to strike guys out either. We were just trying to see how far we could hit it. And my buddy, he could hit one into the fire department. We had to go up there and get a lot of balls. But that was the extent of ours. But we never tried to strike guys out or do anything funky with the ball. Now, is Cody Bradford a whiz with the wiffle ball?
What day was that? Monday. Yeah, Monday. I took some balls up there, and the balls for this tournament, they like rub them up. They basically sandpaper the balls so they actually fly a little bit better. But I just took some brand new Pearl wiffle balls up there basically, and Cody and I were in the cage throwing a little bit. I think at the end of the day, if Cody just rears back and throws a fastball and learns how to just throw a heater, he'll be just fine because it's pretty tough to do, and there's no speed. Or there's no speed thing in this league, in this tournament, so you can just chuck it. But yeah, he was trying to throw some stuff, and you'll see. I don't know if y'all are gonna go to the event or not, but there will be some video and stuff. These guys are gonna throw some nasty stuff, and it's gonna make us
the
look
videos
silly.
On YouTube. Jeez,
yeah, it's gonna make us look silly, and that's just kind of part of the whole point is just to get everybody together and support a good cause and compete.
Yeah, it supports Rangers Children's Charity. How did that come about? It just seemed like a natural fit.
Yeah, so the Rangers Foundation is helping me put this thing on, but it's for the Miracle League is where the money's going to go. That background story goes all the way back to me in high school. My dad got me to volunteer my senior year over at the Miracle League in San Antonio, and I just kind of fell in love with it, seeing all those kids out there who don't have the same opportunities that we do. Being able to go out there and
awesome.
Just give back. And I would always pitch, so I'd always be hitting their bat, and they'd run and hit a homer and see all of that. And some of the stuff that really just hit me was like one kid was completely blind, couldn't see, and his grandpa's back there just telling him when to swing.
Oh my gosh.
He would hit it, and then they'd have some of the other kids ring bells for him to run, and you'd see him round the bases and stuff like that. Was just
my son was playing in a tournament in Waxahachie, and they have
This is baseball, though, right?
Baseball, and they have a Miracle League field there, and I can't remember they had like a bad loss or they were pounding and being babies, and I went up to the coach and he was a good friend. I said, hey, I'm not going to tell you how to coach your team, but make these kids go up there and watch the Miracle League guys and get an appreciation for what they have. And just see the joy that these kids who have, obviously handicaps and how much they love the game. It's still a game and these kids love it. So they all went up there and I stood there because I kind of wanted to oversee it and just make sure that they understood what was going on there. And they started cheering for the kids and everything. And they ended up winning the second game. So, it's just to me, but really, you got to learn.
Oh,
you can't take things for granted. And these kids who really come from all backgrounds medically, it's just fantastic to see them. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it puts things in perspective, like you're talking about. It definitely puts things in perspective, and my whole thing was I wanted a way to give back because these last 2 years it's been great, get my feet underneath me, whatever, but do something to really give back to the community, and that's one thing near and dear to my heart. So I was going to start there, and it'll even be some stuff I do during the season too. But this little tournament was something I just had on my heart, and I had a lot of time to sit and think last year at home.
Unfortunately.
And so I started just throwing stuff around the All-Star break. Kyle, the guy at MLW, the one that puts all that stuff on, him and I talked about it a bunch. And he was like, dude, I'll cancel our Texas tournament just to help you. And I was like, all right, let's start getting this thing in motion. And
that's incredible.
It went from a thought to a conversation to eventually us nailing down a date. And that's when it all got real. And then we were expecting 40 teams. I told them, I was like, hey, I might need the field for 2 days if it's possible. And they were like, we don't really want to do that. That's money in case something else pops up. Because they're going to waive the fees for the most part. And
good.
All that kind of stuff, right? There's still a financial component there, but it's not what a normal thing is. But so they're helping me out on that side. But I was like, man, I really feel like it needs to be 2 days. Maybe we could go to some other Rangers park and play the pool play games on Saturday there.
But you
they
said
were like, you know what? We're projecting 40 teams in the tournament, and then we ended up with 77. So,
oh my gosh,
that's pretty good because it was $145 a team. I'm just reading from the website right now. You can attend. It is open to the public. $25. To get in there and see it, or I guess I'm sorry, a $10 fee to enter a home run derby. You can do a bunch of stuff here. So sounds like a great deal. I know that DLLS is going to be out there. I know we're going to get there around noon. What time does this bad boy start?
Kicks off at 8 a.m.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
Did you get the 8 a.m.
with the number of teams we got? Pool play is going. The last pool play game starts at 5:10. We've got an enormous amount of teams here, so it's going to be crazy. And then single elimination after that.
Okay.
There's an app that you can follow all the team stuff. Kyle has it down to a science. He knows what he's doing. They've been in tournaments like this for years now. But there's an app and a link, or you can just go on and follow teams and look up. There's 3 divisions. You can go look up and follow it, and there'll be a bracket and all kind of stuff that goes on throughout the day.
Are there multiple fields you can set up?
There's going to be 8 fields, I believe.
Okay, I was big say they're not as big as the regular fields. So I imagine you can fit a few on there.
So when they do their league on YouTube and stuff, they run bases and all that kind of stuff. We don't do that in this tournament. This tournament's very, very, I guess you would say, dumbed down because it's basically pitching, hitting. You'll have 2 defenders out there. There'll be lines on the ground. Because if you're throwing it, people are going to be throwing that thing all over the place, and it would just take all day.
Sure.
So there'll be lines on the ground. There'll be a singles line. So basically, if you field the ball clean in front of that singles line on the ground ball, it's an out. If you bobble it at all, you just barely pops out of your hand and you catch it. It's still
a single.
It's a hit. And then there's a doubles line. A triple will be off the wall, and then over the fence is obviously a homer, and it's ghost runners. We don't need anyone coming out here getting hurt. No one needs to get hurt in this thing. It's just very elementary. But it's pitcher, 2 fielders, and then you'll hit. And the strike zone is pretty big. That way it kind of enhances people to swing and not just stand there taking. Because these balls move like crazy. And if you don't dial it in, it could get away from you. You could walk 5 or 6 straight guys.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Are these going to be – now, are there a certain for the – what is it called? The MLW. Do they use a certain – now, we grew up on those long, skinny yellow bats that we all used playing as kids.
That's it?
Skinny yellow bat, yep. And there's regulations to it. You obviously want to make it a little heavier because it's so light. You can put tape on the handle, but then you can only put 2 to 3 layers of tape on the barrel. That way all the bats are kind of the same, and you can't make hot bats and do all this stuff.
Okay, all right. Can't cork it.
Exactly. So Yeah, and that's what's going to be so fun, especially seeing the big league guys get in there and do it. Like, I've done it, so I kind of know how to swing it a little bit. It'll probably take me some time to dial it in because I haven't swung one in a long time.
I want to see a Dolis.
But that's what I'm saying. These guys are going to hack this thing, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, he got nowhere close to that ball, because it's more of like you just barely flick it and then it goes.
Yeah.
Because if you swing it really hard, you got no chance.
Yeah, that's what I can imagine. God, I'm going to try, Jeff. I'll tell you what, I am certainly going to try to get out there. I got stuff that tomorrow, Sunday morning, but I want to get out there now just to watch it. So
it'll be fun. Hopefully this grows into something that we do yearly, and hopefully, we get word out this year. And we even got a silent auction going on where I put a bunch of memorabilia in there. There'll be a couple of Rangers things. And just kind of see how it goes, and then see how we can like grow that also. And Karen was throwing out all kind of stuff from the Rangers Foundation that we could do eventually, but it's like, hey, this is year one. Let's see how it goes. Let's see just if we get attention to it, right? Because that's the big thing. If it's going to draw anything, and I mean, 77 teams. That's a lot of kids / parents coming. So
we'll help you every year. We love charity. We have every charitable thing associated. We have them do a show with us every year. Derek Holland does stuff. Of course, Do It for Durant, all that Jeff's a part of. We love it. We want you to hawk it. Come on here and hawk it. Give out all the info, and we'll try to get it out there. I think it's fantastic. And I've always said this because I love watching you guys, and I know autograph hounds and all that get y'all, but the way you guys interact with kids, especially, shows the heart you guys, everybody in the big leagues has. And so I know that doing something for kids, that's just every big league player I've ever seen or met is that way. And that's so awesome. Jeff told me about it. I said, what do you mean Wiffleball? I started getting fired up. I'm like, I love Wiffleball. What's going on? This is awesome.
It takes you back to your roots. That's truly what it is. Because everyone kind of started that way. Like, you didn't just pick up a baseball and start playing. You probably had a wiffle ball. I mean, that's how I remember. Just in the backyard. I got kicked out of the backyard because I was out there playing wiffle ball with myself or against Jace all the time, and we destroyed the grass. There was no grass. Our backyard was complete dirt, and so we got banished to the front yard. I'm sure everyone has stories like that, right? And everyone can recall that. And that's the whole point of this thing is to build that connection, because not many people can say, hey, I'm a big leaguer, right? Like,
sure,
you can't really talk like that. But hey, I played wiffle ball in the backyard as a kid. Like, you can't tell me how many kids did not have that experience. Like, a lot of people did that. And it's also just a way to get these guys out there, get people down on the field who, most of the time probably aren't going to be able to get down on the field. And I mean, hopefully we don't get beat. Hopefully we can run the table. That'd be ideal. Yeah. But these guys are going to compete, and they're going to bring their best, and that's kind of what it's all about.
I think you guys might run into a buzzsaw with that MLW teams. A couple of them teams.
We're going to look up and probably be 0-2 after pool play with a lot of work to do to get back in that tournament.
Good pitching stops good hitting, man.
I agree. We do got to score, though.
Yeah. Okay, so at MLW Wiffle Ball on Twitter, or Josh has it on his page also at Josh6Young. You can go and they'll link you and send you to the right place to find out more information. But it's Sunday, 8 a.m. All right,
8 a.m. First game, 8 a.m. I'll be there bright early and bushy-tailed, ready to go. I'll be fired up. I might have a lot of caffeine throughout the day, but I'll be fired up. It's going to be great.
He might just sleep there.
Might as well. We got those sleep pods in the back. I might as well just go take a nap and get ready to roll.
Sure. Hey, so you're swinging a bat if you're going to play in this thing. How are you doing physically?
I'm full go. So far, so good.
You were at the end of the year, so I figured.
Yeah, because I had that little second procedure pretty much right after the season was over. And I don't know if Dr. Shin waved some magic fairy dust over my wrist or what, but so far we've been able to feel like a normal human. So hopefully we can continue that. I'm full go with everything in the cage. I've been taking a ton of swings off the machine, which is something I wasn't able to do when I was playing there at the end. So that's promising. The only real test now is to face pitching, but obviously that's not going to come till camp. But the way it feels now, the way it bounces back day to day, I'm in a really good spot. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hopeful for it to be a thing of the past. But it's been really good.
Yeah, I wasn't at the game in Tampa, but I was watching it, and then the next day, the first thought was, I think we might have gotten lucky with this one, and then they went in there and we're like, oh God, we did not get lucky. I just the procedure itself of putting it back together. I mean, you told me it was broken into 7 different spots.
It was 4 pieces. The bone was in legit 4 pieces. I said 7 because I wanted to exaggerate it, but it was in legitimate 4 pieces. And he had to use this like bone putty and stuff to help put it back together and get it to where he wanted to be able to put the screws in.
2 pieces is enough, so 4 is a lot.
I agree. Well, that's where everyone kind of got thrown off, is because the X-ray showed just a clean break, and then he got in there and it was like, oh no,
geez,
you got a couple, like each piece is in a second piece. We got to get those put together. So thankfully, Sheridan did a great job and being able to put all that stuff back together.
Yeah.
Are you going to wear a little thing this year? Kind of.
I'm going to have all the guards on. Don't you worry.
Good.
My end of the year meeting with Bochy, he said, all I want you to do this offseason is get healthy and hit with everything on possible. That way we have no more issues. So I've been working with Evo Shield on getting a custom little wrist deal.
That's it. Yeah, you need something custom on there.
To my wrist. And that's the hard part, too, is like figuring out where I'm going to put it, because you don't want to hinder mobility in your wrist.
Right.
Swinging. So it's like putting it somewhere to where it's protected. And, I was joking around with Boach saying, Boach, it took 26 years for this to happen. So the odds are I'm in good shape. And he's like, I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah.
Everything. I was like, well, as long as I don't have to wear the foot one, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because I'm already not the fastest human in the world, so putting more weight on my feet is probably not the best idea, but
it's been around
a good thing, I guess. So we'll see on that. But yeah, I've been working with the hand guard all off season to make sure I got something on my bottom hand. I'll have that wrist guard on my top hand when we get that finished up. So I mean, my hands and wrists will be very protected.
Hey, as long as you can feel like you normally do, I would wear armor. I mean, those guys.
I might as well go up there in catcher's gear.
Yeah, I'm not kidding, because it's so important to this team to have you in that lineup every day, especially defensively, not only offensively. And so, I mean, it's a fall off. You could see. I mean, this team is so good. You guys are primed to go into this season to be a favorite. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, you guys are. If everyone's healthy, we know that's a big deal. And doing that, so it's good to hear that one of the main cogs is ready to go. And he's got a wiffle ball tournament. Don't pull a hamstring or anything. Oh, you're not running. That's
no
good.
Running. No running. The only thing you don't really got to worry about anything, because a wiffle ball bat is so light. Like, it is nothing on your body. Yeah. Truly.
Okay.
There's nothing on your body there. I mean, I'm going to get competitive. We get to that bracket play, I'm going to start pitching, and I'm not going to hold back. We're not.
Juices are going to be flowing, man. That's the way it works.
The juices will definitely be flowing.
Your labor's
I got to put the team on my back and throw shutouts the whole way. We're going.
That's what you're doing. All right. Great.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Don't worry. I will definitely be warmed up. Everything will be good.
I've always got to talk about this because I was on a show, I was on a guest spot on a show, and they got into the talk about baseball cards. And so we got into, I said, it's really funny. One day I was telling them about what, the clubhouse, we get in there, and I said, Josh I said, he is the biggest baseball card collector. And I said, I got to his locker and he had all these new cards. And I said, we sat there for 10 minutes. He was going over these cards. He was telling me all about it. You told me you went to Tops out in, I think it was Tops, wasn't it? You went out there and you got to see was it the Mantle card you got to see?
That was at PSA, yeah.
Okay. PSA you got to see. I wanted to ask you one question. I know you're a big baseball card guy, and I know you sign at card shows and do that. And I've heard that when you're there, do you kind of walk around too and do a little shopping yourself?
Yeah, I try to. Definitely
a little harder to do that.
Somebody in my hip pocket, because it gets kind of hard to maneuver around. But yeah, I love cards, man. I grew up going to card shows. Me and my dad would go to the San Antonio card show all the time. And that wasn't necessarily one of the biggest card shows around, but it was just so fun to walk around. And my dad got me into cards. So to go to these card shows, and, I liked A-Rod, so I'd always be looking for different A-Rod cards. And he'd walk around looking for Brooklyn Dodger cards. So he's into
wow.
stuff. And to see him get excited about cards got me more excited about cards, right? Like it was just the chase and being able to build connections, and now being in the position I am now to be able to buy cards and be on cards myself and chase those is really cool. Like I'm sitting here, I'm actually putting cards in holders right now. I got cards all over the place on my desk.
But speaking of shows, you're going to be at the Dallas Card Show next weekend, which is always
18th,
at the Waters.
Yeah, I got Fan Fest all morning, and I got the card show later that day.
So it's going to be on the Saturday.
Okay,
I believe it's on Saturday.
Well, I know it's a 2-day show, but anyway, so yeah, Waters Creek.
It's up near me. It's in Plano, isn't it?
Or it's in Allen, I believe.
Allen's just north of Plano. Yeah.
And Kyle Robertson runs Dallas Sports Show, or DallasCardShow.com. So go check that out for more information. All right, so this is I'm going to hold it up. This is the one Brooklyn Dodger card I had on my desk. Roy Campanella. I think this is 55 Bowman. It's kind of creased up, but yeah, I did a little. I don't have that many Josh Jung rookie cards.
I've got a lot. That was my first Bowman right there. Yeah,
first Bowman.
If you look in the background of that card, it's actually they just photoshopped it. We're playing at San Diego State there in college. So you can see in the dugout.
Yeah, I guess you can.
The background where it's like San Diego State Aztecs.
I see the O. Yeah, that is funny.
Okay, I gotta ask this as a baseball card guy. Now that you are on baseball cards, do you remember the first Josh Jung pro baseball card you ever got of yourself?
I mean, I'm sure it was a first Bowman because those were the first cards that came out in a Ranger.
Did you get it in a packet or did they give it to you?
I probably bought it as a single on eBay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
My eBay account is.
Yeah. No, I don't look through your locker, Josh, but you're right there at the entrance in the clubhouse. And if you look down, if you ever bought a card from eBay, you know what it looks like. The shipping label looks like, and you always have like a stack.
Right here.
Like
I probably
you always have a stack.
I got a couple of them right here.
Yeah, exactly. No. So yeah, no. I'd ask you, what is your favorite card? Do you have a favorite card that isn't you?
Ooh, that's not me. It's probably my Trout cards that he personalized to me. Or he signed and wrote his first big league card, the Topps Chrome update in 2011. He signed all of those for me. And when we did my little YouTube show, that one exactly right there. When we did my little YouTube show, we opened 2011 update. We actually got 3 Trouts in the video, and he signed one for me. And it was
that the one with his son?
So no, he did a different ripping thing with his son for Instagram and had got some of his own stuff too. And that was actually his first Bowman. He got his first Bowman auto.
That's pretty awesome.
Like it was a big boy he pulled.
Yeah, right.
We pulled his first pro card or MLB card, but he pulled his first Bowman with his son. And that was just
very.
One day when you 62 Topps Roger Maris. This is my favorite card ever. Because it's got the 61 on the back.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah, I've got so many cards that are just in boxes that I haven't gone through. My mother-in-law is very cool. Every year, my mother-in-law buys me a complete set of Topps. Every year, I get them for Christmas.
That's awesome.
And I haven't opened them. I always keep them in the box because when I'm retired, I figure I'll sit down and start doing what you're doing, Josh. I'll start going through them, maybe doing something with them or doing that. But I had an old client give me his son's cards, and they're these big square white boxes. There's got to be 7,000 cards in it. I got 4 boxes of those that I've got to go through. I told Jeff we need to go through it and find it. It's a lot of 90s to 2000s in there. There's even baseball, basketball. I don't ever collect baseball, basketball, but they're in there. But I as a kid, I'm telling you, as a kid, I would go buy packs every week and chew the gum. And we didn't keep them like they do today. We'd throw them out and we'd pretend that we were the batters and all of that. I can't imagine. My mom probably threw that. I had them in a bag, just an open bag of them. She threw those away probably 40 years ago, and there's no telling what I had in that bag.
So that's kind of how my cards journey started too. My dad, if we had a good week at school, would take us to Toys R Us when that was still a thing.
Yeah,
and there was a value box. It was called something like that. It was $19.99. And it was just a random assortment of packs. So it would be packs from all different types of baseball products. And if we had a good week at school, we'd go Toys R Us, get it. And I mean, you'd get like 20 packs because it was just one pack of whatever. And that's what we did. That was our treat, was to go get baseball cards on basically Saturday or Sunday at Toys R Us.
Well, your dad was a coach, right? Because I think you told me when we were sitting at your locker, you were telling me, your dad would take you to school, and then he would have to be doing stuff, so he'd put you in the corner and put cards in your lap, and you would be sitting there.
I remember vividly one time when I had to go to school with him. I don't know if it was like a daycare issue, something happened at my daycare issue or something. I remember vividly one time, and he bought me a box of cards, almost like this. It was just like a thin little box of cards. And he said, okay, sit right here. It was at like one of his like extra desks or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, sit right here and you can open these cards. Well, I opened those cards in the first period of the day. I ripped through them quick. And he came over after that first class and goes, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? I opened the cards. And he goes, you were supposed to open them like throughout the day, not all at once. And I just remember that vividly. I'm trying to remember the box I opened. It was like an orange and yellow box. I mean, it had to have been an orange and yellow Tops box. I mean, it was, shoot, I can't remember how old I was, though. I mean, it was early 2000s. Yeah. It had to have been before I was 5 years old, because at 5, I would have been in kindergarten.
You're my daughter's age, so early 2000s. Yeah, you were probably about 4 or 5 at the most.
It had to have been like 01 or 02.
Yeah.
When I would have been 3 or 4.
Yep. She was born in 98. Aren't you somewhere around there? 97, 90? Yeah, something like that. So I would say, that you were little, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was little. But that's one of, like, when you think about like, oh, what's my earliest memory I remember? That's one of them right there.
Yeah, my first box
and opening that.
My first box was an 86 Tops wax box.
That's crazy that you remember.
Oh, cool.
And
not saying you're old, but you're kind of old.
I am. I'm not as old as John, but I'm
old. Yeah. My first ones were, man, I mean,
I see the dust on your shoulders over there. You got to wipe that stuff off.
Yeah. And my favorite card at the time was Dwight Gooden, because I loved Dwight Gooden.
Really?
So the 86 Tops Dwight Gooden.
That's truly one of the reasons I truly love the cards, is like everyone has a story with cards, and it brings you back to an innocence, right? Like you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old opening baseball cards, and it's bringing you back to the innocence of being that 5-year-old kid that got cards and was super excited just to open the product.
Absolutely.
And that's truly why I love it so much. And anytime I talk cards with somebody, I'm like, this is what it's about. It's about the stories that come with the cards. The cards themselves, yeah, they're cool, whatever, but it's like, oh, I remember I opened these here because of XYZ, and now playing with or against a lot of these guys on the cards, it's like I open a pack of cards.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that story just popped into my head from when we were doing, XYZ, or in this game he did this on this pitch. Like just random stuff like that pops into my head. And that's what's super cool.
I'll tell you my story. So we used to get the packs, and you know how you would get multiples of one player, and it would just drive you nuts.
Duplicate.
I used to get, there's a guy, you may not, Josh, you're awful young, you may not remember him, but when I was a kid, I kept getting Lyman Bostock. That's the guy I kept getting.
Heck of a hitter.
Yeah, and ended up getting murdered. He ended up getting murdered. And I remember I was always mad that because I had like 10 of his cards, and I'd kept getting one, and then that happened, and I was a kid, and then I was like, wow, I'm kind of lucky I have all these, because that happened. I'll never forget. That was my story. And there's even some backstory about how he almost became an old Texas Ranger back then, that something happened and a trade got nixed or something. I can't remember exactly, but that's the one guy I always remember. Every pack I had a Lyman Bostock, and then he got that year. And so you'll always remember that going, you were mad at first and now you were sad,
right?
Because that's probably 10 years old or something like that.
Yeah. The other cool thing about cards is, for me, is like, ooh, where was that picture taken?
Yeah.
Especially of me, like my first Bowman being at San Diego State.
That's pretty funny.
A lot of
all of your cards
year.
Do you know exactly where all of yours were taken? Do you figure it out?
Yes. Well, I try to. It's hard to do some of them, but like this year, a lot of products came out more recently of pictures from this season, and I have the World Series logo on the jersey,
Okay.
From the inscript, like the gold outline games. And it's like, well, I
Okay.
played in.
You can narrow that down.
I played in 3 of them opening weekend because I missed all the other ones. So it's like, well, duh. Those were taken the first 3 games of the year. And then in one of them, my jersey's really dirty. So I was like, oh, that had to have been game 1 because that's the only day I really got dirty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Very cool.
Hey,
put pieces together.
Just right up the street from the ballpark, my friend, former neighbor, Bill Silheat opened up a card shop. It's called SSI. It's at Lamar, just past Lamar, 1 block north of Lamar and Ballpark Way, behind like the Sonic and the Dickies. And he's got all kinds of stuff. So if you ever find yourself bored one day after workout, wander over there. He's got it all.
Grab some boxes.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got anything else for him?
There was one baseball question we didn't get to.
Okay.
It sounds like a pretty good group of guys that are working out locally this year. How big is it and how's it going?
It's about 7 to 8 guys, and I mean it's great. It's good to just work out with your teammates because you get that accountability for 1 in the off season, but for 2, you just get to see them working. And everyone's working on things right now, right? Like there's no finished product. There's really no finished product until maybe a couple weeks into the season, truly, because you get to spring training, right? Like you've worked on something all off season, then you face pitching, and it's almost like, well, shoot, back to the drawing board. Got to figure this out again. And then spring training, you're facing the pitchers there. Everyone's just trying to get their work in, so they're not really attacking you a certain way. You're getting more heaters probably than you would normally get. Then the season starts, and it's like, oh, snap. They're attacking me a certain way. I need to make more adjustments. And then, you know, a couple weeks into the season, you finally get into that rhythm. And that's truly like kind of the way you want it to be, because if you're a polished product day 1 at camp, you're like, oh, no. Like it's going to be a good year or a good start, but you're going to face adversity at some point.
Sure.
And
have y'all already looked at the schedule when you and Jace are playing each other?
We go to Detroit pretty early, I think.
May, I think.
May. Yeah.
I guess mom and dad will fly up for that for sure.
They have to be at that one, yeah. I would say if any series they went to this year of either one of us, that's the one you have to be at because there's potential that him and I are playing against each other for the first time ever. Yeah. So gotta be at that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we'll let you see you Sunday. Looking forward to this Wiffleball event. It's
going to be fun. It's going to be a full day, but it'll be a lot of fun. I might be a zombie on Monday, but hey, that's what it's all about.
Hey, it's the off season. But hey, listen, we can't thank you enough. I know I keep telling people all the time, you guys taking your time to stop down and talk to us. Y'all have busy schedules, and your off season's your off season. As hard as y'all go during the year, to take time out of your day when you're off, we can't thank you enough. But of course, we love promoting this, and I maybe I'll see you out there Sunday. I may try to break away and get out there and come over and just kind of watch you play and laugh at it. That's
all it's about too. Like you can't take it too serious because we're big leaguers, right? But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. Yeah. And if people think that we're just gonna walk in there and win this thing, it ain't that easy. I'm telling you right now, it ain't that easy.
Yeah, you might get humbled a little bit with the old MLW because some of those guys, they adjust.
I'm going to be very happy to put some balls in play.
Absolutely.
Hey, low expectations. There you go.
Yeah, if I try to hit a ground ball to short, maybe something will happen cool. But
absolutely.
It'll be difficult.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, guys, it's Josh Jung, all-star third baseman for the Texas Rangers. And this Sunday, let's say it one more time. What's it called?
Young's Backyard Battle.
Young's Backyard Battle. It's $10 if you want to take your family out there. You can get into the stadium for $10. Get down there. Watch this. There's going to be a bunch of games going on. It'll be a lot of fun. Josh, thank you so much. And may see you Sunday. Definitely see you at spring training.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, Josh.
All right, buddy.
Nice.
Have a good one.
Yep. See y'all.
All right. Yeah, awesome. All right, that was fun.
That was awesome. God, that sounds fun, Jeff.
Yeah, I did. I was wondering if he was going to play in it, but now he's got like this. He's got a team with like 3 all-stars.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and this is going to make so much money when these people find out some of the guys playing. Jace is on it. Adolis is going to play, and finally confirmed it. He's got Jonah playing. That's so cool. And Bradford. There's no doubt Bradford go out. He's such a great guy anyway. He'll go out there and help anything for charity for sure.
100%. So that's awesome. And
okay,
it's good to hear his medical update. He's a full go, and you hope that you know, just honestly, if he pulls a hamstring this year, great. Let's avoid surgery. No
soft
surgery.
tissue. Give me a couple weeks off. Get your hamstring going. I don't care. Let's stay away from broken bones. I mean, soft tissue happens to almost every one of them. Some of them will try to fight through it, but sometimes it's not even worth it. Hey, lay off for 3 weeks. Get your hamstring ready to go, or get your calf strain ready to go. But man, let's stay away from broken bones. It's pure. This is not a guy that is brittle. This is a guy that has gotten hit in the worst spot, unlucky. These are broken bones, is what this is.
Yeah, three broken bones and a torn labrum. He did hurt his calf last year at spring training, and it was like, hey, maybe this is the year. Maybe he's getting it out of the way early. But oh golly. Anyway, we wish him luck because he's a good guy. He's fun to talk to, down to earth, good ball player. Yeah,
always so friendly when we go see him. He's always good. You know what? He's much more friendly when he's healthy. Not that he's mean, that he's not friendly, but you can just see
he's frustrated.
You can see it. He's like he's just ready.
That week he flew back after the surgery. That was a tough interview for him.
Oh yeah. So I've said it all along. Like when DeGrom was healthy at the end of the year, he was just a brighter guy. Just his eyes, his grin was a little more. He just felt good. All right, let's get back to the team real quick. We had kind of talked about some bullpen options. We had already talked about that. You still think that's going to happen? I always want to talk about Sasaki, even though there's absolutely no news that's going. Texas is definitely still one of the teams in the running, I think, right?
Well, they did meet with him. I don't know if we had that on our last show, but they have.
Yeah, they met in person. We knew that.
Yeah, so they're awaiting further instruction, I guess. It appears Sasaki is in the United States. I guess on his Instagram the other day, there's footage of him throwing a bullpen session at Loyola Marymount University, which is just north of L.A. He probably wishes he wasn't in L.A. right now. So, but this has got to happen. I mean, today is July the 9th. The international signing, January, whatever. The international signing period begins on the 15th, which is next Wednesday, and he has to sign by the 23rd. It's a messy process in that there are going to be some international kids who are kind of in limbo with agreements with the teams who are deemed finalists, if you will. I think the Rangers end up being one of the final. They're already a finalist, I guess. But if there's another cut, like in Miss America or something, I think they have a chance to be in the final grouping. And it's just the work they've put into it, the network they have in Japan. They've known Sasaki for a long time. They've been in his living room and talked to him when he was in high school. And so there's a lot for him to like. I really think that, and I've said this on the Daily Show, he's got to come to the ballpark.
Yeah, I think that closes it.
If he comes here and he sees the ballpark, it's going to be really, really tough decision for him to not come to the Rangers. I just really think that. Now, of course, everybody's like, oh, it's the Dodgers, it's the Padres, it's Ohtani Yamamoto, it's Darvish, the Yankees. Tanaka was his favorite player, so maybe that's an issue, a deal. I think the Mariners are thought to have had a crack at him now, and with Ichiro and some
the history,
they have a lot of history of not just beyond Ichiro. They have you can name a number of players. Kikuchi started his career there, so. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but it's got to happen fast. Hopefully next week when we do our show, there's resolution. It's good for baseball if this thing gets done on the earliest possible moment. But Joel Wolf, the agent, last week in his Zoom call, said that he thinks it'll be more toward the 20th to the 23rd. So we'll see what happens. But the Rangers are players. There's no doubt.
And I said I put something. I tweeted something out I think it was last week, early last week, something like that. And it was just a gut feeling. I said, I know all the teams are out there. I said, I think my gut is it's coming down to and this was purely just me being John. And I said, my gut says it's probably, I think Texas is one of the top two teams, and it's probably coming down to like the Padres in Texas, and it's probably going to be the Padres. But I do think Texas, and I said they really need to get him. CY can pitch the deal, but if they can get him in the stadium, it got like 30,000 people on it. I had the Dodger fans just lit me up. You don't know what you're talking about. And I said, the word guts in there all over the place, that it was just a gut feeling that I had.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, right? There's nothing. Nobody knows. So anybody saying
fans don't know. Padres fans don't know.
Nope.
Cubs fans don't know. Nobody knows because it's a very private deal. It's being kept from the media, and nobody's going to know until it happens. It's like with Ohtani. Keep in mind, the Rangers were the favorites to get Ohtani. Everybody thought it'd be the Rangers or the Mariners. Rangers or the Mariners. And it ended up being the Angels. And it's like, God, why would he go sign with the Angels? And it's still a valid question, but it was the Angels.
Yep.
And so, it's just about what's going to fit.
It's something he liked for whatever reason. It's the feel, whatever. And like you said, like I posted, and you just said, if they can get him in this stadium with CY, I know the thing where they don't want any players involved. So they don't want any players around. That was part of the rule.
Round one, they did. I don't know if there will be a new set of rules or not.
Okay, but get him in the stadium. Look at those amenities that the players have. Plus, CY's look. CY has pitched these guys, and he is whatever his line is that he's selling. It's closing deals. I think that CY can get the message, and then I think the stadium can close it. That's the way I put it. CY can deliver the message. I think the stadium could close it. Now, he may end up in San Diego. Maybe he just goes to the Dodgers like everybody thinks.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the smart money is on the Dodgers because of who they have on their roster, and then the Padres too. They're on the West Coast. You can fly directly from Tokyo from LAX, but you can fly directly to Tokyo from DFW. But nobody knows, and if people think they know, if they thought they knew Sasaki was going to, or Ohtani was going to sign with the Angels, they're full of shit. All right.
Yep.
Nobody knew. Nobody saw that one coming.
Nope. And when Yu Darvish signed with the Rangers, of course, nobody else was going to get him. It wasn't going to be the Rangers. It was everybody but the Rangers that were going to get him. And then the Rangers made a big bid, and they went that little extra when they put some numbers in there that meant something, and it ended up,
$52.11 million. That was because his number was 11.
Right. And that was back when the highest bid won the rights to negotiate. They don't do that anymore. Of course, everybody's putting up 30 million or whatever, 20 million or whatever it is.
No. You don't have to put that up now. It's just
you commit to that if you're the one that signs him. You're going to go.
No, you don't have to give them $20 million. You just give him a percentage of what he signs for. So the team he plays for, the Marines, if he signs for $5 million, they're only getting $1 million.
Really? Okay, so I thought there was a posting fee.
Not anymore. It ended with Ohtani. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's why every team wants
the posting fee is the percentage of the contract. So, last year, Oryx, the team that had Yamamoto, they ended up making $50 million because he signed a $325 million contract.
That's why they would have loved to have seen him stay longer, but he was
right. Yeah, but he wanted to go, and just the way things are in Japan right now, or not right now. It's just Japanese baseball in general. There's just some different things going on there. I'm reading this book right now. A baseball gaijin. Gaijin is the name for foreign players in Japan, or foreigner generally. It's about Tony Barnett. It's Tony Barnett.
Yeah, for the Rangers. Yeah.
You learn a lot about Japanese baseball that you didn't know. It's very interesting. But anyway, enough about that. He's going to be making up his mind very, very soon, we think.
We're getting there. Okay, one more thing before we get out of here. We still haven't obviously today it just came out. Tavares signed for $4.5 million. Is that what he got?
4.75.
4.75, but a bat. And one little name that I think he's going to be too expensive, but he signed, boy, if they could get him for what they signed him for last year, he would be a Texas Ranger. And that's the former Texas Ranger who ended up with 24 home runs for the Padres, Jurickson Profar, who could come in here. He plays a lot of positions, bats right-handed. I know he's a switch hitter, but bats right-handed, it plays good defense, can play left field, can play infield. He has made his way into, he's going to get paid this year, I think. I mean, he had a great year. He's had a good couple of years, been a solid player. But any more bats or anybody out there you think they still might look at? There's a little money there. Like we said, it could be for a closer. Maybe it could be for another bat to go, because their lineup's pretty stout sitting where we are.
Yeah, I think it's a luxury piece at this point.
Which is probably too little for Profar.
Yeah, I mean, Jurickson's going to get paid. I don't know what
he signed for $1 million last year.
Right. If Anthony Santander, he hasn't signed yet, so maybe that's maybe Profar needs Santander to sign for his market declare. I'm not really sure, but the fact of the matter is he's a nice player, but I think he's beyond the Rangers' financial wherewithal at this point. That's just one outfielder too many, probably. I think that it would be not Robbie Grossman necessarily, but a Robbie Grossman type, a guy who can hit left-handers, because Taveras and Evan Carter are still uncertain about that, how they can do against lefties this year. Sure. But I think if they have the money to spend on a guy, it's got to be closer, and we'll see how that pans out. But I don't think we should overlook the Jock Peterson deal. I know we were off when he signed. I mean, that happened. They traded Nathaniel Lowe. That happened. So I mean, with Berger now the first baseman, Lowe off to the Nationals. Peterson in line to get a lot of DH at bats, but also some time in the outfield. He says he's gotten better defensively. The Rangers will probably need him to play in the outfield because they don't
uses them.
Well, they want the DH spot, available at times to give a guy a day off.
Sure.
And if Adolis comes in sore and says, I can probably bat, well, you want Adolis in there and you want Jock Peterson in there. Well, Jock Peterson's going to have to play the field. So
he's played a little first base, not a lot, but
very little. Yeah.
Yeah. But he has.
He has.
I tell you where we sit right now, if they don't make another move, you start looking at first base. Well, who's going to play first base? Well, obviously you've got Berger who's going to play first base. Other guys that can, one of them is Zeke, who's a right-handed bat. And, they brought him home early. There was all this stuff going on and all this speculation when they brought him home early. And I don't care what anyone says. He did kind of seem surprised, according to the translation of the tweet we saw or the text, where he was like, yeah, you're right. I don't know what sources you have, but it is over. I'm heading home. But you said it turned out he might have tweaked something and they just said, come on home. But maybe he is the option. They're like, you're going to be a right-handed bat for first base. You can play first base, DH. Zeke's a good player. The super utility guy we've all kind of expected is probably going to be Josh Smith, but Zeke is one of those two. It's certainly looking more and more like my guy Freddie isn't going to come back.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for Travis, and the Rangers have to improve really against both arms. He's a left-handed batter who would face mostly right-handers. But that's kind of what Taveras and Carter appear to be. So they need, if they're going to sign somebody, I would think like I said, it'd be a right-handed hitting outfielder. And there are plenty of guys out there that are still out there. And Kevin Pillar, if he has apparently decided he doesn't want to retire, and some other guys who you've heard of. So we'll see, and and this may be something that doesn't get done until
spring training.
They may give Taveras and Carter some leash in spring training against lefties and see if the at-bats have improved. They don't necessarily have to get results. If they go for 10, but 9 of them are lineouts, then they're doing fine. And,
they're seeing it.
So that might be something that gets done as camp unfolds.
And signing Tavares does not mean he can't be traded. So I think the only way that you see my guy Freddie back here is if somehow Tavares was moved in some sort of deal. Then that opens up a spot down on the end of that bitch perfectly for Janikowski to maybe come back, who would be less than $4 million for sure. Probably only be $1 million to $1.5 million at most. But for right now, that ain't happening. But if they were to somehow move him, he can still be traded. They just settled the arbitration is what they did today. They avoided it.
That's right. And we're waiting to see if something shook loose with Jonah Heim. I haven't seen anything yet, and the team hasn't announced anything. So that's another one. Well, that's the only other one. Everybody else those were the only 2 arbitration cases. The Rangers took care of Dane Dunyan's spores earlier this offseason. So, Heim need to get him done, and then they can move on to. Hey, let's go to spring training. Hell, let's just get going. But I think there's still some closer things they could do, and the Sasaki thing that needs a resolution. And then I still think that you could see them sign some starters on minor league deals. Maybe find the right deal like they did with Lorenzen late last season. Yeah, and find somebody to plug into the rotation because they are short on innings, depending on what their limits are going to be for DeGrom and for Malley and for Rocker and even Bradford. So there's a lot going on, and so I could see. I wouldn't be shocked if they signed another starter. Sure. So anyway,
lots of NRI guys they could sign too. There's probably a lot of NRI guys too. They could bring non-roster invitees. They could sign the minor league deals just for added depth. Let's get out of here. We've been here an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what a great show. What a fun show. Big thanks to Josh Jung for stopping down. We're going to pick it. We're back on. We're starting 2025 hot, heading into spring training. Next week, we got a couple guys in mind that we'll try to get those shored up. But anything else?
No. Right. Just, hey, if you're going to be out and about, be careful.
Yes, without a doubt.
But just know, keep it in your mind. It helps keep you warm. Spring training's not that far away.
All right, guys. For Josh Jung, Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Thanks for being a part of this one. Until next time, guys, we'll see you at the yard.